I'm one of those people that I suffer from mental health, and it's an uphill. It's been an uphill battle for the majority of my life, and I really didn't start to understand the magnitude of just how it can affect a person until I got to OSU. And I was one of those kind of, you could say, stereotypical men suffering from something that it's just like, you know what, you can't be soft, you can't show emotion, so just you be all right, just we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And uh, I felt that what happened back home in my city in Dayton, and my brother was down there, my cousin was down there. I know it's going to be a lot of people who are going to mentally struggle, whether they lost somebody, whether they were injured, or it's one of those things where it could cause PTSD to anybody who was just down there but did not suffer any injury. Like, it's one of those things where it can affect somebody on many different levels, and I felt that it was a good moment for me to not only reach out to the people in my community, but people in other communities who have also suffered from similar issues over the past couple months, even this year alone. And I feel like it was a good time to kind of use my platform and just speak out about it and express how I felt, and then pay my condolences to those people.
When did you hear about it?
To have Ryan Day prioritize that, what does that mean to you as a player?
It means a lot, because it just shows me how much he cares. He could have just made it simple as, hey, you okay? Yeah. And went on about his day, but he's consistently asking me, "Are you okay? You need anything? You want to talk about it? You want to talk to anybody?" Like, he's concerned, and that's one thing with Coach Day is he is a player's coach. Like, he cares about our well-being. He cares about our day-to-day mental state as well as our physical state. So I appreciate him. If you're watching this, Coach Day, I love you. Thank you.
You mean after Sunday, or is that just something he does all the time?
Oh, it's been a consistent conversation.
When did you learn about what happened?
The very next day. So, like, that night, I was dead because I knew we had football the next day, and I woke up and I had a bunch of missed calls and text messages, because typically sometimes I'll sleep with my phone on silent if it's been like one of those long days and I need to sleep through the night, and I'll sleep with my phone on silent, and it was one of those nights, and I woke up and text messages, phone calls, Twitter feeds, Facebook, every bit of social media, and I was just like, whoa, what's going on? And I remember before I even laid down, my brother telling me, like, hey, I might be going out tonight, having grabbing something to eat, kind of hanging out with the fellas. I'm like, all right, okay, that's cool. And I always tell him, let me know when you get home.
Right.
Even though I'll be asleep, but still just shoot me a text, let me know when you get home. And I woke up today, he was the first person I called, and talked a little bit, and it was surreal, because it's like one of those things where, for me, like, you see it on TV, you hear about it, things like that. You might see it sometimes in like some documentary movies, I'm a big documentary person, but when it's in your face and it's like, oh, this can hit home, it's a little different.
Do you think there's a negative stigma to counseling? I don't know, you talked about, don't show emotion, don't show anything like that. Where do you stand on, like, getting counseling for things, and is it a positive, negative?
I can say I've been on both ends of the spectrum. In the beginning, for me personally, It was a negative. I wasn't the type of person that I don't want to go and talk to nobody about my issues, because my mindset was always, I could talk to them, but what is it going to change? At the end of the day, once I leave that office, I still got to deal with whatever was going on. You know what I mean? And it took me understanding exactly what I was going through, and me maturing and growing up, and me figuring out myself to realize, this could actually help you. You know what I mean? It does not always have to be a negative. So it honestly depends on the person's perspective. For me, I'm open to maybe talking with maybe a Coach Jay or a Coach Day, or maybe somebody on the training staff. I'm not the type of person where I want to go to counseling, but if it was anybody else, I would recommend it to somebody else. You know what I mean? I know what helps me, and my situation and how I deal with it is going to be different from somebody else. You know what I mean? Somebody else might be good with talking to somebody. Somebody else might be better with watching movies or taking pictures. It just all depends on what helps you deal with what you're going through.
So it's not a sign of weakness.
No, it's not at all. And I could say at one point in time, I was one of those guys. I was stereotypical. I felt like it was, and I felt like showing weakness was something that I just could not do. And it took, like I said, me growing up and maturing and getting out of my ignorant state of understanding exactly what mental health is and how much of an issue that it is, for me to realize that it's not about me being weak. I need help. I'm struggling, you know what I mean? So that's how I look at it.
You didn't know anybody who was downtown?
No, sir. Well, not that it was affected, but I had a couple, my brother, and then I had a couple cousins down there just kind of hanging out. So
So Trey was down there
Yeah.
that night?
Yeah. We actually he took a little break for a couple days. Kind of go out, get away. So he's good though. I'm checking on his mental on a day-to-day basis. He's still talking crazy, so I know he's fine.
Was there a time in your life where you realized that mental health was something that you were struggling with and that you needed to get help for it? And what kind of helped you kind of come to that realization and get through it?
I'd say I knew I was going through some mental issues about 8th grade, freshman year, but it was one of those things, it was just like, I got so many things that I have to take care of. You know what I mean? It's like, I was a boy who had to be a man, but I didn't really know what being a man was, so there was a lot of trial and error, and my thing was like, you know what? One thing I cannot do is be soft. I got to be a leader. I got to be a role model. I got to do this. I got to do that. And it was one of those things where I try to keep myself busy not to think about it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it took me all the way until getting to college for me to really understand what it was that I was dealing with. You know what I mean? Because when I was younger, yeah, I knew about it, but at the same time, you kind of just try to ignore it because at the time, like I said, me having a young, ignorant mind, it was more of a sign of weakness, not so much as a sign of something that I'm actually going through. You know what I mean? So I think that might have been the biggest thing. It probably started about 8th, 9th grade. And then once I got here, I kind of got more of a hang on it and started to understand exactly what it was.
Like anxiety, depression, or
A little bit of everything, like some anxiety, some depression, and it's different ways that, you know, it can really hit you. You know, it's days where I feel like I was on autopilot, straight zombie mode. You know, I'm just getting up, just going through the motions, going through
being
the day.
overwhelmed?
Yeah.
I know that you lost your father at a young age. Did that play a part in what you've had to deal with since?
That started it all, to be honest with you. That was like the beginning of me starting to have the issues that I was having, struggling the way I was struggling. And, you know, at a young age, it's like, all right, you 10 years old and you got to be the man of the house. But, you know what I mean? What exactly does that look like? What does being a man look like? And my mom, she is phenomenal. She is thebomb.com. I couldn't ask for a better, not only just person to raise me, but woman to raise me. And, you know, at the same time, there's only so much a woman can teach a man as far as becoming a man, you know what I mean? So I had to go through a lot of trial and error because I still had to teach my brothers. You know, I had 2 younger brothers that looked up to me, and it's like, all right, if I'm messing up, what example am I setting? So if I think it's, you know, this is right, or if they think this is okay and it's not, what kind of role model am I? What kind of big brother am I? What kind of man am I? You know what I mean? So I had to put myself through a lot of trial and error, and it was very stressful because I looked at it as, you know, I'd rather go through it, butt my head, burn my hand, you know, fall on my butt, find the right way before I teach it. You know what I mean? So, and at times that put a lot of pressure on my plate, but I'd rather me do it than them have to do it or figure it out on their own. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where at times I put more pressure on myself because I felt like I had to do more than what I probably should have, but, you know, I wouldn't change it. Somebody had to do it.